Welcome back to the Dimer Sports Betting Podcast. Hello, welcome. I can't wait to lock in our final cards before the weekend with you tonight, folks. I'm Greg. Dave is here as always, and Dave is live from an Airbnb in Boston.
That's correct. I am coming at you live from lovely Boston, Massachusetts, in this nice, lovely little area. I'm going to see an emo band tonight from your neck of the woods, Greg. Kalamazoo, I believe they hail from.
Whoa, that's the hometown, yeah. Dave. Who are they?
Called Saturdays at your place.
Heard of them, yeah.
Nice, wow. Yeah, they're getting pretty big. So, yeah, me and a buddy are going to see them tonight. And, yeah, it's going to be a good one.
I love it. I'm going to need the report back, please. That's exciting. I have friends from out of town visiting tonight, so maybe we're going to have a little festive episode of the Dimer Sports Betting Podcast today. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, thank you for joining us as always. Reminder to everybody here, we are hoping to get some questions from you for future episodes. So please tag us, bring them to us. If you're in the Discord, you can send them there. If you're not, you should join it, but also feel free to fire them at us on social media, whether that's Twitter, Instagram. Dave and I will keep an eye on those and hopefully answer them for the future. Before we get to some Thursday night football previews and then our first touchdown round robin and plenty more betting angles for Week 11, let's talk about King of the Court for a moment because our long shot play did not cash, but the top four finishers were all in our featured targets, Dave.
Yeah, obviously Jokic won it. And as we said, it's going to take a lot to beat him. He was the only guy who went over 50 that night. Jalen Brunson did give him a run for his money. But yeah, we had four of our guys in the five targets we gave were all the top four finishers of King of the Court. So NBA projections are dialed in 3 weeks in a row. We've had the key players in the running for King of the Court in there. So don't sleep on it. Then don't sleep on using it for your regular wagers either. There's a lot of value in there.
Joker's so good. That's my only takeaway from watching
55 last night, something like that.
Just a sleepwalk to it every single time. All right, let's jump right into Thursday night football. As always, we've got our primetime parlay for you that we will get to in just a moment. But Jets plus 12.5. Our total is 43.5 here. Dave, what is the model like tonight?
53% on the Jets to cover, 53.8% on the under, 43.5. You got a little 3% edge on the Jets, 1% edge on the under. Jets money line is at 13.9%. So no edge there at plus 610. Fair odds would be plus 620. So you're basically getting it. If you think they're stringing together one more win on a short week, then you're getting a pretty decent price there, just not any value as identified by the model. I'll pull up our full projections here, and we'll go through this together. So Jets are on their best run, if you can call it that, of the season, covered in 3 of their past 5, but so are the Pats, covering in 5 of their past 6, 7-3 on the year against the spread. And this is a pretty big spread, as is. I was looking back at some of the other big spreads of this year, and it was more often than not the favorite did cover. But sometimes, those longer ones, they mostly involve the Titans and the Bengals playing good teams. So make of that what you will. But Garrett Wilson's now ruled out of this game, re-aggravating the knee injury in Week 10. So the Jets' skill position players are Breece Hall, Mason Taylor, Tyler Johnson, and trade deadline acquisition Adonai Mitchell. Not a lot to write home about there. All that said, gut kind of says it's a little trappy of a spread. It's so big on a short week in a division game. As scrappy as the Jets have been, as poor as they've been scrappy, keeping games somewhat in reach. So it's certainly in play. The model likes it. It's one I think I'm just happy to stay away from. I wouldn't go against the model here and take the Patriots to cover, but it's just something I probably won't touch as far as that's considered. Lower side of the total. Teams are combined 12-7 to the over this year, but you got to figure if the Jets are going to cover this, it's probably going to be all defense and it's going to go under, which is what I would lean. Certainly the model does favor that. No real value, as I said, 1%, but it is, preferred by the model over the under, over the over. But yep. So fluky game for the Jets last time too. The two special teams touchdowns I think outscored their entire offensive production. Probably not going to pull off 2 punt return touchdowns again. And the Pats have absolutely crushed the last 2 bad teams they faced by 18 and 19 points. So,
hey,
yeah, that's my
just when you say you can't, that's when the Jets bring it on. No, spot wise, I'm not surprised that the model leans Jets here. I think this is a huge number, and say what you want, but I do think momentum can be real in the NFL, and the Jets have now won 2 straight games. Nobody knows how they have done it. But despite trading many of their best players, this locker room has not fallen apart. That is at least a testament to Aaron Glenn. I'll make it all about myself like I always do, but Glenn was the defensive coordinator for the Lions the last couple of years. Dave, he was a part of that Lions team that had a similar turnaround. Remember, in one of Dan Campbell's first seasons, they started the year 1-7 before finishing the season 8-8 and really making a run down the stretch. We've seen him be involved in how did they do that locker room turnarounds before. I'm not saying that's here to stay for the Jets whatsoever, but I do think it's a testament to the guys that are there that they haven't given up on this season. And this is a scary spot to me. I agree with your analysis that if you like the Jets side of this, the better play is the under. To me, that still leaves you a little bit of room for like a 34-3 Patriots win, which, I could certainly see happening if the Jets just can't move the football at all. We'll get to this in some of our angles for this game, but I think there is one Jet that at least has my attention here, and it is Breece Hall. So I don't know. Do you want to take us through the angle here? Would you touch Breece Hall against this vaunted Patriots running defense?
Not like from a rushing perspective. He's like the last man standing here in MetLife from both teams, really. Giants and the Jets, everybody's dropping like flies or getting traded. Publicly frustrated with not being traded at the deadline. Didn't slow him down last week against a very good Browns front. 125 total yards, 83 on the ground. But they're not quite as dominant as the Patriots. The Patriots are allowing 59 rushing yards. I don't know why I don't have it here, but I think it's under 60 rushing yards per game to running back specifically. Hall's got 3 games with 100 rushing yards, 2 more with over 100 total yards. So I think there's some receiving angles in play, something we'll talk about in a little bit. No spoilers. But the only time the Jets played an elite run defense was in London, but he was held to 59 rushing yards versus the Broncos. His line's at 56.5. So not one that I'm really excited to bet on. We do project him for 69 receiving yards. At least I had that in my notes. Let me check to see if it's updated here. 67 now, but that's certainly over his line of 56.5. Supports 60 plus, which is probably plus money, 70 plus if you want to push it. But
is that the rushing or the receiving? Rushing?
Breece Hall rushing. Yeah.
I was going to say, okay, I just want to make sure. I was like,
oh, sorry. Yeah.
I might have misheard you on that. So call me crazy on this. I'm with the model on this. I'm going to play a small Breece Hall rushing ladder here in the hopes that this is a weird voodoo Jets keep this closer than you think game. But I'm entirely tied to the volume here from the first game post-trade deadline. 21 carries last week against Cleveland in a game where, mind you, they were short a couple possessions because of the special teams touchdowns. They have 2 more possessions. He might finish this game with 30 carries. He hadn't been over 20 outside of one game earlier this season against the Broncos when he had 59 rushing yards on 22 carries against Denver. I think that's a similar type approach to what they're going to try and do against New England. Oh, you're a good team, good running defense. We don't care. Our only way to hang in this game is kill clock and feed the ball to our best player. Now, look, it might take him 30 carries to get there, but I genuinely believe he might get 30 carries in this game. And, it's been a couple of years. He didn't have 20 carries in a football game all of 2024. Wow. He had a bunch back in 2023 and went over 95 yards, a couple 100-yard performances in those games. The Pats rush defense is for real, But to me, Aaron Glenn's only way to hang in this game whatsoever is feed Bryce Hall as much as you possibly can. Our model agrees. I mean, 13 yards projection higher than his line. It's pretty sizable to me. So I am going to play a small Breece Hall ladder from 60 up to 100 and hope that we get an ugly run-bound football game.
Yeah, you've talked me into it. Now I got to see what the odds are like. Hopefully they get up there pretty nicely once you hit 90 or so because of how good the Patriots defense is. And it's albeit a pretty light line for Hall. But yeah, supported by the model, just, one of those, you're going to have to fade the best rushing defense in the league if you do so. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, volume should probably do it, honestly. So
I'm going to look it up too, just so we can tie a bow on it. But if you want to take us to our next angle, I'll come back to what the odds look like for a Breece Hall ladder.
Yeah, we're staying on the ground here. Looking at the Pats backfield, Ramondre Stevenson ruled out yesterday, third week in a row now, opening the door for Trevion Henderson to follow up his best game of his young career with another one. This is really the game I think we were all waiting for from Trevion Henderson. He's gone 10 for in the games without Ramondre, 10 for 75, 14 for 55, and 4 catches for 32 yards in that game. And then this past week, 14 for a mammoth 147 and a pair of rushing scores. Before Ramondre was ruled out, we did have Henderson already projected for the better game. The model already kind of picking up on that changing of the guard there. 42 yards and a 50% TD probability to Stevenson's 37 and 49. As you can see now, we've got him up to 53% probability, and it looks like 76 rushing yards. My eyes are not very good. So, yeah, changing of the guards probably here. And I saw this stat when I was doing my research. Henderson's 2 touchdowns on Sunday were longer than every single play of Ramondre Stevenson's career but one at 55 and 69 rushing yards. And Ramondre Stevenson's a bit of a fantasy darling. Like, I think maybe we've conflated his PPR cheat code usability with how good he can actually produce. And Trevion Henderson as well on a path to taking over here. So it's all him in this game. I mean, he's like 180 to score a touchdown. Very clearly the favorite. I don't think anyone is even within, you got Stephon Diggs at 37% or so, within 15% of Henderson, but Jets are allowing 104.6 rushing yards per game to running back, so it could be another big game for the Rook. Also one to look at, maybe 100 each on the ground for them could be a fun little play. And as far as Drake May, who is basically the second leading rusher for the Pats without Stevenson, not a huge mark, but the Jets do allow the 5th most rushing yards per game to quarterbacks, 25.9. Drake May was plus money for that before Ramondre Stevenson was ruled out. Probably not anymore. We have him for, looks like 26 yards there. 26 yards. So pretty much right there in the projection. Do with that, I guess, what you will. But could be another big game for Trevion Henderson is the long-winded way of what I'm trying to say.
Running backs. That's the angle for us tonight. I certainly see the vision. Any running back against the Jets is usually worth it. Travion's line's a little inflated for my liking, but you can totally see why. Back to Breece for just a second. So he is plus 106 with DraftKings to hit 60, plus 182 to hit 70, plus 296 to hit 80. You're catching plus 475 for 90, 7-1 for 100 yards. I am going to play all of those. I'm going to play it up from 60 to 100 in a small, maybe 2-unit ladder play here. And looking back just a week ago, right? Obviously, the Pats rush defense has been amazing. Some game scripts have certainly turned teams away from running the ball against the Pats. Last week, the Buccaneers ran the 2-headed monster of Rachaad White and Sean Tucker against this defense to a combined tune of 19 carries for 91 yards. There's no one in the Jets backfield that is going to touch the ball except for Breece Hall. And respectfully, they don't have Baker Mayfield out to throw the ball 43 times in this game. Even if they load the box, Breece is dynamic to break 1 to 2 runs. I think this is my favorite play by far for Thursday night football.
Yeah, pretty good. It's Sean Tucker, best rushing performance against the Patriots all season last week with 53 yards, I believe. So, Yeah, you talked me into it. I'll ride that with you. Backed by the model for 60 plus, which is plus money. So even if you don't want to climb a ladder, you're getting very good value at just his over even. So,
yeah. All right. FanDuel's got the Thursday night football jackpot. What's the play tonight?
It's not RBs. The only thing we're going to do not RBs. For me, it's Hunter Henry. I like my tight ends in these spots. Jets are among the bottom third of defenses against tight ends. 0.8 touchdowns per game is actually the second worst mark in the league, only behind the notorious Bengals tight end defense. Hooper's ruled out. He's only a couple targets a game, but Henry's clear tight end one tonight. Keyshawn Moody's also out. So some targets vacated there as well, like last week. 34% touchdown probability, or 33%, and 7.9% to score first. Last I checked, 7.7% to score first. So third highest in this game, actually. Probably won't be as deep of a cut as he might seem. But, Travion Henderson will probably get you a $15 bonus bet if you bet him in this. So why not take a little bit more of a swing? Hunter Henry and score first or last, and leave yourself with a little extra bonus cash, hopefully.
Love it. All right, Hunter Henry it is. Thursday Night Football jackpot on FanDuel, one of the more fun promotions that you can find week to week. Hopefully that can cash for us and we can smile about it next week. Without further ado, let's turn our attention to our Thursday Night Football same game parlay.
Thursday Night Lotto.
In the 30% boost that you can get on this at DraftKings Sportsbook, we can get this all the way up to almost 9-1 odds as it stands without the promotion, plus 650. Take us through it, Dave.
Yep. By the time I placed this bet after writing and publishing the article, it was plus 700. So you might even get better odds at this point. I left it as is because that's what I wrote in the article, and I wanted things to accurately reflect that. But so the aforementioned receiving angle for Breece Hall here, 15 plus receiving yards. Obviously we talked about the tough matchup on the ground. Are giving up 38.1 receiving yards per game out of the backfield, though, which is the seventh most in the NFL. The receiving core is absolutely depleted in this game. Tyler Johnson, Mason Taylor, and Adonai Mitchell, again, the top receiving options. None of them clear 36 yards in our projections. Breece Hall has hit this in 5 of 9 games this season. He's landed on 14 twice. Could have just fallen forward a little more and gotten that. 3 targets in all but 2 games. Long catches of 15 plus yards in 3 games, including 41 or 42 last week, which accounted for about 95% of Justin Fields' passing yards. He should get his looks. Best player on the field tonight. Dimers model projecting for 18.2, just over this mark. Hunter Henry, guy we just talked about, over this 33.5 receiving yards. He's over in 5 of 10. Most of those did come in the first half of the season, but should have a chance tonight with Hooper and Booty out. 37.5 yards projected against the Jets defense that sees 7.3 targets, allows 45.1 receiving yards, and as mentioned, almost a full touchdown per game to tight ends. Henry's the second most targeted player on this offense through 10 games, and without Booty, he's the second leading receiver of any Patriots that will be on the field tonight. Pretty modest line for him to get here, which he has gotten for us in primetime before. And Stephon Diggs touchdown to close it out. Scored 3 straight games. Sorry, we're looking for him to score in the 4th straight games. Bit of a weird season for him. Spiked with a pair of 100-yard games in back-to-back weeks in the middle of the season. After going scoreless, though, for his first 7 games, he's finally breaking through, getting a little more comfortable in this offense, even if he's not putting up the barn burner numbers he used to. Bit of a familiar opponent here for the Jets, if you give any credence to stuff like that. But all 3 of his touchdowns have come from inside the 20. He's brought in 8 of 10 red zone targets, which is 5th best for wide receivers in the NFL. Second most likely touchdown scorer in this game behind Henderson. There you go. Stephon Diggs, 36.6%. All 3 of these legs, as mentioned, plus 650 or even better perhaps at this point. And here's what we're rocking with tonight, Thursday Night Football.
Boom. It's good to see my guy Brees involved, even if it's through the air rather than on the ground. But there you have it. 3 big names: Hunter Henry, Stephon Diggs, Brees Hall. Lock it in. Let us know if you do. And hopefully we can all cash some tickets together on Thursday night. Past Thursday, we've got plenty more to look forward to in Week 11, starting with something I know you love, Dave, an overseas game. Commanders-Dolphins in Madrid. How annoyed are you with this one?
I love this game. Do you know why? Okay.
Why?
It's the last one of the season. After this, it'll all be over. And it's a cruel joke that we are sending the Commanders and Dolphins over to Spain for the first ever football game in the country. The NFL deserves this, frankly, with a stinker on national television for all to see bright and early on Sunday morning. Commanders are in free fall, not just since Jaden Daniels' injury. They've lost 5 straight games, which I actually didn't even realize, even though one of those losses was to the Cowboys, a game I watched and relished quite very much so. But they're past 4 by at least 21 points in each. Dan Quinn is taking over defensive play calling. Could be a good thing. We know he's a great coordinator. He's levied his defensive coordinator abilities into 2 head coaching jobs in his career. So you got to give him that. The Dolphins are still bad, I guess, but they've won 2 of their last 3 games, scoring 30 plus in both. So there's something going on there. However, I don't think you can ignore the fact that Marcus Mariota mentored Tua. Both are from Honolulu, and Tua is just such a nice guy. He might just, give Marcus Mariota this win. He's just such a stand-up dude. Just give it to Marcus, let him leave with a dub to try and turn the Commanders season around. But I digress on being facetious. Model's pretty 50-50 in this game. 2.5 point spread, no value in the Commanders to win, so not really an extra edge there. 50-50 on the total, 47.5. That was actually a negative edge due to the odds. Sorry. Just trying to think of how I want to phrase this. I don't want to say it feels like it's all the Dolphins in this one, but Debo tops the touchdown probabilities at 34%. Meanwhile, A-Chain's at 57%, Beefy 21% to score twice, Jalen Waddle's at 43%. Just much higher scoring equity for the Dolphins in this game. The Commanders have had a really tough go with the backfield. No one's just emerging at all. Bill, it seems like it's just not happening for him. Chris Rodriguez is getting looks. The Dolphins have sort of righted the ship as far as rushing defense after giving up the Rico Dowdle breakout game. So it just seems like it's going to be a tough one for them to move the ball. And the Dolphins haven't looked their worst lately. So it's just one that, I don't know, doesn't really look good for the Commanders. Definitely a good props game, I think. If you're going to look at any Commanders, Zach Ertz for me. Finns give up 71.4 receiving yards per game to tight ends, just bottom 5, almost 8 targets, which is up there in the league. Only projected for 43, 32% TD probability, but you might be able to sneak some nice alternate lines on Zach Ertz just for the mere fact that there's not really anybody else besides him, Debo, to be catching the ball there. Just been a really bleak couple of weeks for the Commanders. And now they got to go overseas and play a Dolphins team that's at least trying to string some stuff together. So,
yeah. What a spot, right? Congratulations. You finally beat the Bills. Take a 12-hour flight or whatever it is. It's going to be fascinating to see how they respond to that. I like the odds of some crazy offensive plays happening in this game, like big play potential on both sides. I don't know who it's going to be from the Commanders, but it just feels like a props game to me. One of the more fun potential offensive games in the overseas series that we've seen this season. So has my full attention as well. Next up on our storylines, it's the Unk Bowl Part 2. We dubbed it that earlier this year. Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco. You and I were texting through this game the first time as we highlighted the potential for some touchdown scores. There were 4 different tight end touchdowns the first time. So I don't know. Are you expecting a repeat of exactly what happened in Unk Bowl Part 1?
I don't know if exactly the same. I would be pretty amazed if the Steelers score 4 tight end touchdowns. I mean, even the Bengals got one with Noah Fant in that game, but they remain pretty vulnerable at that position. I mean, Mason Taylor is the one who caught that game-winning catch from Breece Hall, I believe, against the Bengals a few weeks ago. I'd be almost more interested on the Bengals side. You got to figure Flacco's about to give it his all. Might have just 2 games left as the Bengals starter. Maybe his last 2 games ever, who knows, or he'll be quarterback for the Cardinals or something next year. But you better believe I'm looking at the tight ends in this game. Again, I'm picking one of them up in fantasy, debating which one. So we'll see if the Dimers projections can help me at all here. But yeah, Jonnu Smith, 2.9 receptions, 28.3 yards, 27.4% touchdown probability. Freiermuth, a little lower, 2.1 receptions, 21.7 yards, 25.5% TD probability. And Darnell Washington, my king, 1.6 receptions, just 16.2 yards, and under a 20% TD probability. So Jonnu's the top projected. If you're looking to take one just based on that alone, it would be him, 7.8 PPR points. That's a fair floor in fantasy if you're starting a tight end in a desperation spot. All have pretty similar red zone equity, 4, 5, and 7 targets each, respectively. They each all have a touchdown or 2. I believe Darnell Washington has 1. Jonnu and Freiermuth have 2, I think. I know Freiermuth does. I didn't note the others, but yeah, I'm certainly going to be playing them. I don't think it's going to be quite, like I said, the same, but maybe a Jonnu Smith, Darnell Washington 2-piece for fun. And I'll probably play Jonnu Smith for fantasy. So if you're looking for one, that's the guy I'm going with my Thursday waiver pick, I guess.
I'm intrigued. I like it. All right, next up, we go to the greatest city in the world, as Jameis called it in the media this week. I don't know if you saw that, but Jameis Winston, he's back, baby. We can't get rid of him. Eat a W. Let's have some fun with this. He was singing at the podium this week about how excited he is to play in front of New York fans. Now, Jackson Dart hasn't formally been ruled out, but if Jameis is singing at the podium that he's excited to play in front of fans, it seems like we know what the Giants' expectation is here. This may only be for 1 week, but I'm excited for it because Jameis Winston's one of the more electric quarterbacks in the entire league when he is available. No matter where he's playing, he's must-see television for me. If there's one guy to watch with the addition of Jameis here, it's got to be Wan'Dale Robinson, right, Dave?
Yeah, looks actually pretty good for him. 14.0 PPR points, 5.1 receptions, 61.9 receiving yards, 29% TD probability. We know Jameis Winston loves to just sling it. F it. Whoever is my wide receiver 1 is down there somewhere. And that's pretty much Wan'Dale Robinson these days for the Giants. I'm actually debating on if I'm going to pick up Jameis and just replace my Jackson Dart injury in fantasy with him. I haven't quite decided on that. It is the Packers, so it's not going to be the easiest defense here. Jameis hasn't played in a game I actually don't know how long. I probably should have checked. I can't remember if he was playing for the Browns last year.
Time is just a construct to Jameis Winston, okay? It doesn't matter. True. It could be 6 years or 1 hour. It doesn't matter.
He just exists in the void in between those. Time doesn't pass at all. Yeah. Much easier game, I think, for the Packers than anything in this one, who just badly need to put on a display and show something because they are struggling with that lately. Truthfully, not a lot to know about how this offense will look post-Dable. Could be reading into this too much, but Mike Kafka promoted Tim Kelly to the offensive coordinator, tight ends coach of the Giants the past 2 years. Theo Johnson coming off basically his best game, 7 catches on 8 targets for 75 yards. Maybe the coach plays, little favorites and schemes some extra plays for his positional guy. 39.1 receiving yards and 27.3 TD probability for Theo Johnson there. Could be, I put this in the notes, a little interesting reverse correlation parlay you could do with Dimers value props that are on the site is Jameis is under passing yards, 237.5. We project him for 221.9. But over 1.5 passing TDs, which we have at a 49% probability and plus 170. You get that at plus 650. you put them together. So just a little reverse correlation thing I saw in the props, not advocating for it as a must bet or anything, just something I happened to notice. And, maybe some good value. Both had an edge in as standalone props. So something to play with there.
That's great value. And I almost want, can we get alerts for that? Anytime we have two value props with Dimers that can spit out a plus 650 prop parlay, I almost want to just auto play those.
Yeah, it's certainly something to look at. We do have the passing TDs props now, which we didn't used to. So we have these, additional opportunities where the model might, find the value. Like it's 49%, but plus 170 is like 40%, the 39% probability or so. So it's a big difference.
Yeah.
Right there. And then just one more note I have here. The Giants are plus 295 on the money line, 25.9%, 7-point underdogs. This would be the biggest immediate post-firing upset by spread since the Chiefs fired Todd Haley in 2011 and beat the Packers as 11-point dogs. So Packers.
2011 was a great year, Dave. It was
weird.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal year until my prom date went on a cruise and cheated on me, but I digress. Let's move on. The Detroit Lions, my team, are taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Dan Campbell is at the podium supporting the tush push. He's a big fan of that. That was minus 9,000. Yeah, minus 9,000 on Campbell supporting man ball. This could be a big time playoff preview. I think the Lions seem to have at least righted the ship momentarily. In Philadelphia, say what you want about their concerns. A.J. Brown has his own concerns. These two teams will be here in the postseason and may potentially match up again. We also have a fun one with the Rams and the Seahawks, two teams that are just looking untouchable right now. Something has to give. I feel like we could do an entire podcast episode about these two games. So
easily.
Where do you want to start, Dave?
Easily. I have to say there's so much good stuff in these games that I've mostly avoided them with our best bets and round robin because I wouldn't even know where to start with a first TD in these games because there's so many powerhouse options. But Lions Eagles, can Jahmyr Gibbs score 3 touchdowns again? I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but he gets value at 1, 2, and 3 in the Dimers model. Only minus 125 or so for anytime touchdown, which is really good on a guy that good. Eagles defense is pretty solid, but they haven't been absolutely shut down on the rush. Also, running back storyline this game, Saquon did not look quite himself after the bye week. If you remember, he came up limping a little bit, came up lame, however you want to say it, after the Giants game, which he dominated in, but he left early. But only 2.7 yards per carry this past week. Pretty much his entire day was saved by a big catch and run. The other 2 catches he got going for no yards netted. Projected for 74 rushing yards, 21 receiving, and a 46% TD probability. Not exactly offensive player of the year, Saquon stuff. Under 50% to score, not something we just are seeing very often with him. So something to look at. Hopefully he's all good for the sake of fantasy teams and just general NFL entertainment and betting in general. But he has not didn't look quite the same coming out of the bye, which you would have thought would have been trending in the other direction. And then one more thing, Jameis Williams, man, first 100-yard game since week 2 after Dan Campbell took over the play calling duties, paid dividends right away. Only projected for 51 in this game. Eagles passing defense is 14th in yards, but their 8 touchdowns allowed are the fewest in the NFL. So I would temper your expectations if you're excited about what you saw from Jameis Williams last week and are firing him up either in fantasy as a wide receiver, 2, or betting on him to hit a similar mark. Just would temper those expectations. Rams-Seahawks, the other one, potential NFC Championship preview as well. This game's really got it all, man. 2 excellent defenses, 2 powerhouse offenses that can pretty much score at will. Cooper Kupp versus former team. Couldn't in his old house. You can't really script this any better.
Fine. It's fine. I think you got to find a way to talk yourself into betting Kupp in this game. I just want to,
Yeah, you got to find the way. Maybe play him. I don't know. I was just going to say first quarter, but I like to think of a different angle or something. But the thing is, we only project him for 24 receiving yards and a 19% TD probability. So certainly there's value. I mean, I might just skip if you were going to bet on him for a good game. Just skip like the low tiers and just go straight for like 70, 80, 90 plus. Expect him to go off or something. 2 touchdowns, have some fun with it. But know that the model isn't projecting him for a big game, is not scripting in the Cooper Kupp flash job against his former team.
You mean our model doesn't run on things that would be fun to bet? It runs on analysis and data? That's crazy.
Very, very small percentage of the input is a fun factor. And you got, speaking of fun factor, 2 of the best wide receivers in the game right now, Puka Nacua and JSN going head to head, 104 yards and 42% for JSN, 93 yards and 48% touchdown for Puka. I might just look at them to hit those marks, 100 for JSN, 90 for Puka, grab them for a touchdown. 2 really great rushing defenses, but the passing defenses are ranked 18th and 19th, perfectly matched for this in a game that, these teams are going to want to put on, I think, a big statement against one another.
Yeah, little toe for toe wide receiver 1 battle is probably a lot more likely than a Kupp going off game. What about you used to do our yardage touchdown parlays. I don't know if you're going to give out a personal play later in the show. I haven't seen what you got, but any interest in like a JSN Puka over a certain mark plus a tutty parlay?
I think I should just probably run back that one I did last week and replace Puka or replace Ladd with Puka and just do JSN.
So I'm seeing at DraftKings plus 750 to get both JSN and Puka 100 plus and a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm all in on that. Yeah, forget the 90. Just give me the 100. Yeah, they're going to be featured pretty heavily, I think, in this game. Unless, they try to just script Cooper Kupp to have the crazy game. But, I mean, come on, It's JSN. Like, you're going to use your top weapon against a team that you might be facing in the playoffs.
Yep. Love it. All right. Well, that is cool. Thank you for taking us through those. This feels like a particularly uniquely fun week in the NFL. Kind of hit that midway point of the season where it's just sleepy and everybody's on bye. Wake up, folks. We got some good games to look forward to this weekend. That's a great segue because it's time to take a look at our best bets for NFL Week 11.
Weekend best bets.
We're bouncing back this week. It was a rough one for our best bets last time around, but hey, it's a new week. Let's start fresh. What do we got?
Yeah, I mean, they both blew leads. It was whack. Jaguars blew 7, which is pretty much a perfect segue into this bet. Blew a 17-0 lead to friggin' Davis Mills. But starting off with Chargers, -3, 56.5% probability, 6% edge, -102, almost even money here. The top probability play in this game is actually Chargers money line. It has an edge of 4%, odds of -150. So just caveat that if you are just looking for the best bet in this game, it is on the money line. As far as probability is concerned, 64% probability makes it fair at -180. So it is value. I just know not everybody likes to play the juice, and we have an edge on the spread as well. So we're just going to look at that. Chargers got plenty of issues. We know this. We talked about it. Notably an offensive line made up of guys who are all bottom 5 at their respective position. Not a joke. But the Jaguars have even more problems, as mentioned, like coughing up a 17-0 lead to Davis Mills just last week. Projected final score, 24-20. And after Travis Etienne at 44% to score, no Jaguar is higher than 28%. It looks like it might be tough going for them to score. The 24-20 pretty much implies 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. So, not going to be finding the end zone very frequently, I think, for the Jags. Chargers allow only under 1 passing touchdown per game, 5th fewest passing yards. It's just not going to be an easy game for Trevor Lawrence here. Travis Etienne is pretty easy to scheme out of a game. You've seen that. If he doesn't get big runs going, he's just basically plodding along, and they're not going to get the juice out of the run game if they can shut him down because Bashaw Tutin just hasn't really shown that he's like a clear second back who can do those types of things. Yep. So pretty much just all in on Chargers for that alone. Jaguars are just not an inspiring team. And while flawed, the Chargers just have so much more upside, in my opinion, and based on the model's predictions here. Props-wise in this game, a couple good angles. Rondé Gadsden somehow already cleared for this after a knee injury last week, leaving early. Seemed like he was trending clearly towards being out this week, but he's already listed as active. Went from like out to MRI to day-to-day to active before Thursday, which is pretty nuts. Meanwhile, McConkey popped up as questionable with an ankle issue. Quentin Johnson popped up as questionable with a quad. McConkey was a limited practice participant yesterday, so he'll probably be good to go. He's our top projected receiver in this game at 67 yards, 37% touchdown. Good chance I'm all over Chargers props in this game as well, though. Jags 2.3 passing TDs per game, second most in the NFL behind yours truly, the Cowboys. So should be a good game for Justin Herbert. Probably too late for him to get back in that MVP conversation, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has that type of game tomorrow on Sunday.
Feels like tomorrow. I just wish
it does. See, I'm just ready.
Yeah,
I'm that ready for week 11.
Chargers, easy team to back right now. Jags, easy team to fade right now. Simple as that for me. I'm in. That's all it is. Let's go to game 2 here. Broncos catching 4 against the Chiefs. This one has held strong for us since our first episode earlier this week.
Yep. So I'm not going to break this one down too much more. All that analysis pretty much still applies, but 56.5% probability, 3.2% edge. I think this will be on the lower scoring side here. The model does have 54% to the over of 43.5. It is a really low total, so I'm not totally surprised to see the model projecting that. But the Broncos defense is a powerhouse. Chiefs are top 5 in terms of points allowed. I don't expect either running game really to get going very much. We actually have Hunt projected over Pacheco at 41 yards to 30. Probably Kareem Hunt's best projected game in some time, which is interesting. Broncos are going to be without J.K. Dobbins. They're actually looking at putting him on IR, so R.J. Harvey's definitely going to be looking to make his impact with the first chance as RB1. Projected for 50 rushing yards, 19 receiving. Pretty sizable, 41% TD probability. I'm sure he'll find the end zone because he didn't last week when I needed him to. So that just, the universal nature of things balancing out. But I think it's just not a very big offensive game here. And the Broncos, if they don't have like a really crazy offense, so if they want to keep this close, it's going to be pretty big defensive game. And that's why I just think it's going to be lower scoring. And I pretty much always say that makes me like the underdog more than the favorite, and supported by the model here. Strong probability. Not a crazy value, but 3% edge is still pretty good. Should be about minus 130 here or so, minus 140 for projections.
Love it. Yep. Feel as strong about it as we did earlier this week. Lock them in. I'm in. Yep. All right. And we have a touchdown prop to add for our third best bet this week. And it's another one that got a mention earlier in the show with some of our betting angles. Jahmyr Gibbs, my guy. The model loves him this week.
It does. We got to look at it. Anytime I see a guy with 1, 2, and 3, I feel like I at least have to shout him out because the model might be onto something here. Josh Jacobs, we had him featured previously. He got 1, and he had worse odds than Jahmyr Gibbs does here. So he's at least, a great play for 1. Coming off a 3-touchdown game, scored twice in 2 other games this year. Dan Campbell knows Gibbs is a dog. He gets the ball to his dogs. Pretty straightforward. Eagles are solid at slowing the run, holding running backs to under 90 rushing yards per game. Do allow almost 1 touchdown on the ground per game, though, and they have the 27th worst red zone defense first backs. So if they get down there, probably got a decent chance. Scatterboo tagged the Eagles up for 3 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs was the only Packer to score last week versus the Eagles. Gibbs should get 1. It's got the upside for more. Definitely play this, sprinkle on the 2+ and 3+, but plus 550 for 2+ from Jahmyr Gibbs seems very nice to me.
Yep. I have seen Gibbs start to get more and more of a share of this backfield all season long. We've kind of honestly documented it as the season has gone on, as they've gone away from a 50-50 split to turning him into a feature back. So no surprise to me, especially in a game against a real Super Bowl contender, right? The reigning Super Bowl champions here, that we're going to see a heavy dose of Jahmyr Gibbs this week. There you have it, folks. Broncos +4, Chargers -3, Jahmyr Gibbs touchdown prop for us this week. Reminder, you can get 50% off of Dimers Pro with promo code podcast to get all of these insights whenever you want, on demand. It's super useful during NFL season, but it's incredibly helpful with all sports. Trust me, college basketball is my favorite sport. I'm checking the site every single day to see where the edges are. Obviously, MLB just wrapped up, but it can help you find futures value. It can help you find props, whatever you are looking for. The NBA, nightly, so much action right now. We've got WNBA probabilities every single night. We can help you win money. It is promo code podcast. Get 50% off with Dimers Pro. Okay, it's time for our first touchdown round robin. Who are we going with this week?
All right, yeah, so we got ×2 last week. Came up a Judkins TD shy of the +1700. Anytime TD parlay. So we're looking to string together a pair of at least ×2s here. So not straying very far outside the top 10, except for one guy really here. There are no odds on two of these guys due to some questionable QB availability in those games. However, as I will discuss, I'm not particularly concerned with the QBs in those games being a major factor here. Josh Jacobs, 19% versus the Giants. Not a ton to dissect here. He's the top overall probability of the week. Gets a good rushing matchup with the Giants, who allow the second most rushing yards, 24th ranked red zone defense against backs. Packers, like I said, got to establish something in this game. No better way to do that than funnel the ball through your best player. Christian McCaffrey, 17% or 18% versus the Cardinals. He's the second highest of the week here. Purdy may be back. That's the expectation. He's in the projections. If so, he'll likely look for his safety nets like Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle early. They still don't really have a good wide receiver room here. And if it's Mac Jones, we know what to expect from that. So not concerned about the quarterback under center here. Cardinals are without Marvin Harrison Jr., so down a key weapon, which should give the Niners an additional shot to open up the scoring. Woody Marks, welcome to the first touchdown round robin. 13% versus the Titans to score first. Yeah, he's in the top 10, 8th highest probability of the week. There's a changing of the guard in the Texans backfield. The Dimers model is on it right here. Top projected running back for Houston this week against the Titans team, allowing the most rushing touchdowns in the NFL. No CJ Stroud again, most likely. They'll lean on the run. Texans defense should certainly keep the Titans out of the end zone first. Drake London versus the Panthers, 12%. Listed as questionable, but it's with an illness. Players pretty much always play through that designation, especially when it's early in the week. All 6 of his touchdowns this year have come in the past 5 games. Over 100 yards in 4 of those. He is heating up. About the only thing going right for the Falcons right now. Gets the highest first TD probability for any wide receiver this week, which actually surprised me. Top 12 overall of the entire week. And now we're going to go down the board just a little bit here for DK Metcalf, 9% versus the Bengals. It gets a great matchup with Cincinnati, as we know, very poor defense. His current 2-game stretch without a score this year is the longest he's gone with that one, so you could say he's due. Just about fair odds here would be +1,000. He's as short as +650 where I could see, so pretty good price for him. 9%, not the smallest probability ever here. Everyone's 42% or higher to score anytime. I couldn't put it together and get the odds because of the availability for McCaffrey and Woody Marks at this time. But I will say if you play the anytime TD parlay, I might just leave Josh Jacobs off. He's like -240, -250, which is just kind of a silly price to pay for an anytime TD, especially if, you're then putting it in a parlay and God forbid it's the favorite that loses. So just my 2 cents there if you're playing the anytime TD lay, given his juiced odds, and the other guys are not quite so bad. I don't know what McCaffrey is, but probably not 240.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't be.
-180 maybe.
Yeah, 100%. I like the 8-1 shout here. It's fun to when you do a round robin. Sometimes it's like the longest leg that hits, and all of a sudden you really get those payouts, even on a 2 out of 5. So I'm in. I got DK in fantasy. I'll be all eyes on him as well. Would love to see this happen. Welcome to the first touchdown round robin, Woody Marks. We hope you deliver for us.
Please.
Jacobs, McCaffrey, Marks, London, Metcalf this week. Thank you, Dave. If you want first anytime, 2+ or 3+ touchdown probabilities, we've got them all. Dimers Pro, 50% off with promo code podcast. Check it out. Okay, we've made you wait long enough. Now we get to put our personal touch on this. What is your personal play this week, Dave?
All right, so I have two. One is kind of a pending play, and I actually have a quick little image because mine comes straight from the website, so I'll pull it up here. I'm inspired by our champ of the week last week, Jay Solstice, who took 5 value touchdowns from the Dimers model and played them all together. And I'm going to do that, but with 3. Jahmyr Gibbs, T. Higgins, and George Kittle. 59% probability for Jahmyr Gibbs, 41 for T. Higgins, 40 for Kittle. Really good edge here, really good odds. No Kittle on my books, so I could not put this together. I'm going to assume it's probably in the range of 8-1 to 10-1, which is very nice for a little 3-leg touchdown parlay. I will say I would put Trey Tucker, who's part of my next play, in this. However, he's playing on Monday, and I don't really like to put an extra leg in there. The whole thing hits, and then I'm staring at like a cash out with a leg that's 24 hours away. I just don't like to be in that situation. Although I'm very much a never cash, let it ride type of person. I don't even want to be tempted by the gambling gods. So I will not put Trey Tucker in this, but he does have an edge. He's on the website, plus 200, pretty good odds. I will play Trey Tucker 100 yards and a touchdown, same game parlay on Monday. They didn't have that up yet. Geno Smith's questionable. If he doesn't play, I'm probably not going to do this. Keep that in mind. I might look at something, might play him for a touchdown, but I probably won't play him for 100 yards. I just don't think Kenny Pickett scares me enough, even on the Cowboys defense, to do this. So if Geno Smith plays, Trey Tucker, 100 yards and touchdown against my Cowboys, give me something to cheer for while I'm also cheering for them to win.
Yeah, the emotional hedge, Dave. You're a veteran at this against this Cowboys defense. It makes sense. All right, I love this play. I'm in. You've convinced me. I'm out for redemption for what I like this week, and I'm also out for a game that we don't even have a line for or probabilities on the site for, so fingers crossed the model endorses this. I actually I'll give a little hint at a different play just in case. I was going to talk about Purdue, who is on the road at Alabama in college basketball tonight, catching 3.5 points. I personally think they may win outright. It's a bounce back spot for Purdue against a total letdown spot for Alabama. These two teams played twice in the last 3 seasons. Purdue has won every single time. It's a good coaching matchup, yada, yada. The model shows some value on Purdue plus 3.5, 55% probability. However, I don't bet Purdue this season because I co-host a podcast with their star player, Braden Smith. So no bets being placed from me on Purdue, just some personal. I predict Purdue to win this game, and you can do what the model tells you to do if you want to, folks. Personally, I'm going to turn my attention elsewhere, though. It's a Friday night game in college basketball. After giving out a losing pick last week, I'm out for redemption. Arizona is going to play UCLA in the Los Angeles Clippers arena. It is technically a home game for UCLA, but good news, when UCLA is at home, no one goes anyway, and this isn't their home arena. So I expect Arizona fans to show out in this one, arguably for it to feel like maybe a big game environment home game for them. Arizona got everybody's attention on opening night when they beat the defending champion Florida Gators, and their front court full of freshmen really held up in a monstrous physical way. They've got an elite perimeter defender in Jaden Bradley that was just able to take the Florida guards out of that game. Enter a UCLA team that has quietly dropped from 10th on KenPom.com to outside the top 30 in 3 very too close for comfort wins through 3 games. This is not a good basketball team. They've got big issues in the front court at the 5 spot. They're really superstar dependent at the guard spot with Donovan Dent, who missed last game. Sources tell me Donovan Dent will play this game. He's a little banged up. I would not want to be a star guard dependent, banged up team against Jaden Bradley and Arizona and their defense. He just was awesome against a better backcourt than what UCLA has to offer defensively. I think this is a blowout win. Now, KenPom, with this being a semi-neutral game, The projected spread for this game is Arizona by 2. I think it's short. My suspicion is that sportsbooks will come out with Arizona -4, maybe -5. I'm telling you, my personal play is Arizona alternate line. I think this is a blowout. Arizona by 20. I am hoping the Dimers model endorses this, but I'm calling my shot ahead of time that I don't know what the Dimers model will say. Make sure you check in with the model. But for my personal play, it's an Arizona blowout to cover alternate lines against UCLA tomorrow.
Love it. Love it.
Redemption day. That's what I'm
See what
after.
the model says.
I can't be a college basketball expert and start 0 for 2 on personal plays. So check back in on Tuesday to see how this goes.
Impossible.
Okay, that's it. Thank you for entertaining our personal plays this week. Before we close the show, let's discuss what else is on Dimers.
What's on Dimers this week?
Talk hockey to me, Dave.
Hockey. Oh, man. NHL predictions, props. We got it all. The model reports are rolling. 3-1 run for the NHL. I think we have another one in play today. I'm not actually 100% sure as I've been doing this podcast with you, so I haven't seen what's on the website, but I will check. Golf. Predictions always updating. Don't forget, we are underway. I actually don't know how our guys are doing right now. I'll check after the show since we're almost done. But yeah, predictions update after every round. So if you miss early value or if someone gets off to a poor start, you'll find some value on other guys who are in the mix. So definitely check those out every day. NFL betting guide will be posted on Friday with our pick'ems and survivors and the plays and storylines we talked about on this show. NBA projections have been great. We talked about King of the Court crushing it. The Dimers model for NBA is on an absolutely elite run, 7-1 with the bets recommended from that. Those are all on the website. Remember, you can get those reports with your preferences on dimers.com in your account. You just select your preferred sports, and those will go to you directly through email. Yeah, pretty much got it all. NFL coverage all the way up through the weekend, as you know. Yeah, we're ready to roll.
It's a great time to be a Dimers Pro user. It's a great time to be a sports bettor in general. Dave, thank you, my friend. I know it's not easy to podcast from a true road environment, and you made it work today for us. Enjoy your concert in Boston, and we're looking forward to getting you back home next week. To all of our listeners, make sure you support this show. Throw us a like, throw us a comment, hit us with those questions so we can bring them to the next episode. 5-star rating. We would love them. Help us grow this program into something bigger and bigger. Good luck with your wagers this weekend, folks. Gamble responsibly. We will be back next Tuesday.